Okay, my friends, hold on to your hats. This has been going on forever. I have been 15 years posting about giants, and I have them. They're DNA tested, CAT scan, and I have many of them. They are now stone. They are not bones. I'll show you right now. Okay, get ready for this. This is from the Redacted channel, The Hidden Bones of Giants and Nephilim. What is the Smithsonian hiding in the vaults? Now, this just came out an hour ago. They already got 10,000 hits, 10,300. I mean, they're going crazy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have the giants right here, and I'll show them to you. But listen to this.
Well, is there proof of the existence of giants, or Nephilim, as referenced in the book of Genesis in the Bible? And more importantly, are they being hidden by our government in places like the Smithsonian Institute, perhaps like in plain view, places that are visited by millions of people every year? Are they underground? What is the government hiding from us with this story? President Trump just called for a full-scale audit of the Smithsonian. So what will we learn from that audit, if anything? Does it relate to giant humanoids? Timothy Alberino is really a modern-day Indiana Jones who's traveled the world exploring and researching these mysteries. He's written a number of books on countless subjects in the esoteric realm, I would say. In fact, when I introduced Timothy to my son, I said he's like a modern-day Indiana Jones. And I've been waiting to talk about this with Timothy in our studio for a long time. Timothy, great to have you here in our studio. Nice to actually meet you face-to-face. So we're going to talk about giants today. I know for a lot of people this might seem like, come on, this is... Clayton, I know you talk about aliens, I know you talk about other things, but this seems like incredibly far-fetched. But it's not. And you've been researching, how many years have you spent researching this subject?
With giants specifically? Yeah. Probably 15 years.
15 years, me too. Let me show you what I have, and then we'll take a look at that. You see that? This is an artery. This is the structure of the arterial wall. This is also an artery. I ground it down and polished it up in this one spot. That's all blood. That is all blood in there. And here's what it looks like when I polished it up. Remember what this looks like. Because that is what this looks like. It's the same thing. This is an artery from a giant creature. Now, I'm not saying it's human. I don't know what it is. But it's giant, and there is nothing this size now. This is a hair follicle from a giant creature. Now, I don't know what kind of creature this is from either, but I will show you ones that are human because they've been DNA tested and CAT scanned. This is a hair follicle 2 inches wide. That's where the muscle attaches to make it go up and down. You know, it gets scared and you shake. This is the actual root. Those two dots there are the hair papilla. This is the sebaceous gland. And that's where the hair comes up the top, 2 inches. That's pretty good size. Now let me show you the ones that are CAT scanned and DNA tested. You see that? That is a left human hand. Put your hand back like this. You see this right here? That's a tendon that runs right down there. That little one right there. Snap, 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 snap. There it is right there. This is the pad that goes around your right here. That's the cleave that pinches right here. Your thumb goes off this way, the little finger goes off this way, and this is just up to about here. It's 4 feet wide here, it's about 3 feet or so down here. Now, this was DNA tested, and I couldn't get this CAT scan, obviously it's too big, but I did get the fingertips CAT scanned. And I put this around here because I broke this piece off to get down to the bone. The bone is right here, and I'll show you in the CAT scan. This is it right here. That's a fingertip, and this is human DNA. And I didn't scrape it from the outside. I drill into these and get from deep inside, and that's what I sent off. And I did it in extremely clean conditions, no question whatsoever that it is human DNA, mitochondrial. It's proven. And I did 2 other ones. I did this one, and then I did one much bigger than this. Where do you see this one? All right, this is a giant human fingertip. It's 3 feet long from here to the very tip of the front. This is the fingernail. All right, and it's pretty well kept. It flaked off a little bit. You see this piece here? It would have been up to here all the way around. But it flaked off a little bit, but that's no problem. This right here is the pad that it goes between the fingers so that they don't rock against the bones. These are the vein and the artery. This piece I broke off. It was completely intact, so I couldn't get any blood out of it. So I smashed this piece off, and I thought it was going to crack, but it didn't. It just popped off like a scab. And I'll show you what I mean by that. This is here it is right here. Now, when I smacked it off, it came off right like this. Just like that. It just came right off, just like a scab. And these are the sweat pores, and these are the fingerprints. I mean, the thing is like just brand new. It's absolutely unbelievable. And this just snapped right off. And it didn't crack. It just peeled off, just like I showed you a second ago. All right, it just peeled right off of this thing. And that's where it came off of right here. Pew, and it popped right off. And like I say, this thing's huge. Now, I'm going to show you some other details. They can't be denied. Plus, I have the DNA tests. And, of course, you can't CAT scan that. It's huge. But I did CAT scan this one, which is a small fingertip from that 36-inch, 4-foot wide hand. And so it runs 4 feet down to 36 inches. And this is one of the fingertips. And I got other ones. There was a bunch of stuff from that. Apical tufts, all kinds of stuff. All right, you saw this. This is huge, 3 feet long. And that's the fingerprints from it. And this is that little pad right here. And here's what it looks like in a CAT scan. Here's a little pad. That's what it is. Now, I had another one, CAT scan, this one here. And you can see the bone in here. And you can see this. You see this right here? You see that? I have this to hold this thing together because I broke this piece off to get down and look inside up against the bone. But this right here, I'm going to show you what that is because a tendon attaches there. That's how you move your fingers, with these tendons. And here is that tendon right there. You see it? That's it right there. You know, I got more flesh on this one. This is down to the bone and the apical tuft. This is the apical tuft. I have one of those around here too. Well, I can't find it right now. Oh, here it is. This is it right here. That's the apical tuft. And you see all these little holes? You got a bunch of little tendon straps come down and they lock into this. That's the apical tuft. And it came off of another fingertip that had eroded much more. And I have a bone from this one too. The regular bone right up here. I got it everything. And this was DNA tested. CAT scanned everything. I showed you CAT scan on this. You see, this is the 3D where you go down inside the bone. And here is the bone itself. This is flesh. Flesh turns to mud and stone. They call it mudstone, or sometimes it's just real stone. It depends on the conditions that these things were in when they were entombed. And it was because of a great flood. The first CAT scan I showed you was a 3D. It goes inside the bone, or inside the thing. This one is a 2D. This is the outside. You can see where the fingernail was. That's where the fingernail was. And that's that little cut that holds on to the tendons. There's no mystery here. Now, like I said, bones did not stay bone. This has one little tiny piece of bone there. You see that little white spot? I don't even know if you can see it. That's the only last bit of white that's left of bone in this. Everything else has turned to stone. It's because of nucleophilic substitution and invasion. I don't remember which bone this came out of. I got a ton of them, and they all bleed. That's a scab that was coming out, let's say it was in here. Well, I moved it out of the way. Here's what I did. I scuffed it out of the way. And I pushed it, and this is what's called fibrin. It's a clotting fiber. And we have it in us. And that was on top of there. Now, underneath there's a black and a red, because that's the colors of blood, the vein blood and the artery blood. And here they are right here, right up close. Here's the two holes. That one's the red, runs off, and this one was the black. And this is what they call a bone foramen. And that's how they transfer blood in and out of the bones. No mystery here whatsoever. See, here it is right here. Roger Spur is credited with first proposing mud fossil hypothesis. Mud fossil concept was first proposed by Roger Spur and is also associated. Paul Amatucci wrote books for me on all my research. The mud fossils, electron fluid theory, all the stuff I do. And dismissed, totally dismissed. Academics refuse to engage because they know they're done. Virtually everything that we've been told about our history is wrong. It's just wrong. You see, this is exactly correct. Mud fossil hypothesis suggests there's certain rocks and mountains are actually petrified remains of enormous creatures. Let me show you. This is on a channel called Outer Range, and he's out flying his drone and he sees these formations, and he says they look paradoxically seemed almost deliberate. No, this is biology. That, my friends, is tight cell junctions. These are cells. Those were cells. The earth is completely biological. These are cells. And they're gooped over the top, and these are the cell junctions. Right here where they fit together and they fall apart. And that's what you were seeing in that video from outer, hold on a second. This one right here, from Outer Range. They're broken off, they're breaking off because the junctions are coming open. That's what he's seeing there. It's not just nothing. No, I just showed you my stuff. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but they're talking about the 9 to 12 foot tall people. Listen to this.
The ruins. This was their job. And everything that they collected, all of the artifacts went into the church. And they would lay out all the artifacts on the table. They were collecting so many artifacts that they were filling the church up. And in fact, in one case, one of the guys, he went to the mayor of the city and he said, hey, we're filling the church up with artifacts. We need more space. We should think about somewhere else to put these artifacts. And the mayor looked at him and said, mind your own effing business. And he said he didn't understand why the hostility. They were told to fill the church up, and in some cases to lay the bodies out in the yard next to the church. And every night somebody would come and take all the artifacts. They would come back in the morning to resume the excavations, and everything would be gone. So somebody was actively sequestering away the evidence of 9 to 12 foot tall people in Sardinia. And we're talking about the late 70s, early 80s.
This is going on now. They destroyed Velikovsky for his work. They destroyed me. And they'll destroy him. They destroy everybody. And that is our educational system. I'm going to leave it at that.